Greetings, people, and welcome to Good Evening, Niger. The Red Chamber of the National Assembly witnessed a rowdy session on Tuesday when it received a request from the Buhari's government to approve a loan of 23.7 trillion naira for her. One will wonder what Buhari wants to do with that money, considering that he has just 4 months in office. But that is not the way right now. The issue is that this money has been borrowed from the CBN as ways and means loans and spent already without the approval of the National Assembly. Now, Emefiele, the governor of CBN, has not also been helpful in this matter, as he has clearly violated clear sections of the CBN Act in borrowing money to any government. Now, first thing first, what is ways and means loans? Ways and means loans is what the government can borrow from the CBN to finance budget deficit and in case of emergency. For example, like during the case of COVID-19 in 2020, the government can actually borrow from the CBN to ameliorate the plight of Nigerians, considering that the country did not prepare for it. Now, there are clear sections as to how these loans should be borrowed, which Emefiele has violated. If you go to section 38, subsection 2 of the CBN Act of 2007, it states clearly that the governor of CBN cannot borrow more than 5% of the country's revenue for the previous year as ways and means loans to the government. What that means is that if the revenue of Nigeria, for example, in 2021 was 4 billion, Emefiele can only grant 5% of 4 billion to the government in 2022 if they want to borrow to finance budget deficit or for emergency. But Emefiele has continually violated this law, as he has borrowed money even way more than the revenue of Nigeria to the Buhari's administration. As if that is not enough, the act also speculated that the CBN government does not have the power rather to borrow another money to the government if they refuse to pay the one that was borrowed to them before at the end of the financial year. Since 2015, CBN government under Emefiele has continually borrowed money to Buhari without paying back, and that is why the money has accumulated to 23.7 trillion naira. And in October last year, Buhari has said he wants to turn this loan to security bonds with a maturity of 40 years. I'm very sure that in the next 40 years, most of us wouldn't be alive again. So we'll have 40 years to pay this loan in the form of security bonds with 9% interest. That's it. Before that 40 years, we'll have to pay 1.8 trillion naira as interest on this loan, then pay it in the next 40 years. And what that means is that the next generation, Buhari's great-grandchildren and our great-grandchildren, will have to pay the bill Buhari is borrowing now. What a pity.